Why are beef prices so high right now?
Price fluctuations for Western Canadian beef.
This is beef tenderloin, which is like the most expensive cut of beef you can get.
I hate Canada. Guess who calls me 6 times? A spam number.
So let's go vegetarian.
When you see people at the grocery store look at steaks that they really want and looks all pretty and they pick it up and they look at the price and they put it back, that's the inflation tax.
Welcome back to Canadian Rant, the channel where we say out loud what every Canadian is thinking, but nobody in power wants to hear. Today, we're talking about beef. Not the kind you cook, the kind you can't afford anymore. Because let's be honest, when did steak become a luxury item reserved for the wealthy? When did families start second-guessing hamburgers? And when did buying ground beef start to feel like you're splurging? Across Canada, regular hardworking people walk grocery aisles and stare at meat prices like they're museum artifacts. $15 packs of ground beef, $40 steaks, and don't even think about roasts. Those feel like antiques. Meanwhile, farmers aren't getting rich. So where's the money going? Grocers profit, corporations cash in, and Canadians keep getting squeezed for the basics of life. So grab a seat, or maybe a bowl of ramen, because today we're looking at why meat is becoming a luxury in a country that was built on cattle, farms, and barbecue.
I just made a video saying how I hate Canada. Guess who calls me 6 times? A spam number from Toronto, Ontario. 6 times? Are you sapsucker serious? You dirty sap maple licking bitches? Like, I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. What's wrong with you?
Price fluctuations for Western Canadian beef. Top sirloin grilling medallions on January 13th, it was $30 a kg. 5 days later, $24 a kg. 5 days later, $26 a kg. Is it the time of the month?
Can't get this food prices in Montreal. Soon you will have to sell your kidney to afford food in Canada.
I still can't understand. 1475. Oh.
So let's go vegetarian. I did this video in the supermarket, but I decided to make it over in my car. Look at the meats, the cost of the meats. And I left quickly because it made me depressed. And I did not use the self-checkout because the grocery is too expensive. I went to the cashier to check out. So look at the meats. Chicken breast. $20 for the chicken breast. $20. Piece of salmon. $22 for this piece of salmon. Some boneless steak. $25 for that. I wanted a roast, but look at the cost of the roast and the size. That only can feed one person. My son will eat that whole thing. So ridiculous. Look at the rice.
It's going to be either beef or rent soon. When it comes to the rising cost of groceries, a few items have increased more over the past year. One of them being beef. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the price of steaks is up 16.6 compared to last year alone.
I don't know why the cost of meat is rising. Is like, are there less cows? I don't think so.
So they come from Canada. A lot of our meat and like stuff like that, it comes from Canada and tariffs and all of that.
I thought it was USDA.
We're eating Canadian cows?
No, we might.
No,
I mean,
a lot of like poultry and beef and all of that, it's imported.
You're right. We do beef with Canadians. Our cows are saying cruddy.
Cruddy.
Cruddy. Don't eat me, fam.
And then we eat them.
We should all stop eating so much Canadian stuff.
Why?
Because it's making us soft. Don't milk me, fam. What are you doing, fam?
This is something I just cannot wrap my head around. I don't know how this is even possible. This bunker of meat here is at my local superstore in Nova Scotia. This is beef tenderloin, which is like the most expensive cut of beef you can get. It's crazy to see it packaged so large. Like very, very few people, especially in this economy, would ever buy an entire beef tenderloin because it's just so expensive. But clearly, I'm not hiding the price. You can see this is $13.88 a pound. That's not bad for beef. Like that's a pretty damn good deal for beef, especially the most expensive cut of beef. The issue I have with this is Australian. This was shipped halfway across the world, and it's $13.88 a pound. That brings us to the same store about 10 feet over to the Canadian beef. This is the Canadian beef tenderloin, and this is how you are usually seeing it packaged because it's so expensive. This here is $27.50 for this steak. Those big packaged tenderloins, the entire tenderloins from Australia, were anywhere between $80 and $100 for the entire thing. Like, if you remember, it's $13 a pound for the beef tenderloin from Australia. If you can zoom in, it's in kilograms. This is $105 per kilogram. That's about $50 a pound. Canadian beef is $50 a pound for beef tenderloin. Australian beef shipped halfway across the world is only $13 a kilogram. Why is Canadian beef so expensive? What's the difference? I bought half a cow from my neighbor next door. I paid an average of $5 a pound. So if it's not expensive to raise, butcher, and store the meat, like I do myself, well, I don't raise it, but I bought it from the neighbor. Why is it that our meat is so damn expensive here in Canada?
So I'm buying beef at Costco, and those are the prices. What the fuck? $82.29 for not even 1 kilo of fucking beef. I know it's filet mignon, but come on, $82.29? I mean, look at this. Look. What is the world coming to?
Why are beef prices so high right now? According to research firm Canfax, prices are up nearly 16% compared to last year and 35% compared to the 5-year average. And if you're hoping this is just a temporary blip, there's more bad news. Prices are expected to keep climbing next year and the year after. Experts say it's basically economics 101. Supply is low and demand is high.
Beef demand in Canada and in the United States is exceptionally strong.
The reason beef is so expensive right now is because of factors that have been building for years. About 5 years ago, drought started scorching the prairies, forcing ranchers to make tough decisions.
25% to half of our cow herd is just going to disappear with the drought that we're in and the feed scenario that we're in.
Not enough rain means not enough food for cattle to graze, and buying feed is also more expensive. Other costs like fertilizer have also gone up. So as the cost of running a ranch has gotten higher, producers have been forced to slash expenses. In recent years, ranchers have cut the size of their herds to save money, but even with these higher prices, consumers can't stop buying.
I always tell people, if you don't like the price of beef, the reason for that is just look in the mirror. We are buying beef even though the price is so high.
So, what keeps people buying beef? Some people just ignore the price tag and keep buying all the beef they want. Others try to save money by trading down.
Instead of eating that nice roast, maybe they'll eat a blade steak or something like that. And we're seeing much more demand for these offcuts.
That means even bargain beef is getting more expensive. But how long can prices keep climbing?
The good news is it won't be going up as much as it has in the past. The bad news is it won't be going down.
With demand staying high, many ranchers are trying to rebuild their herds. That should mean more cattle and more beef in the long run. The only problem is that getting there takes time.
It's not like chicken where you can turn around the direction of production in 6 months or less. With cattle, it takes 2 or 3 years before we see a difference.
Experts say prices should start to stabilize, but also warn we shouldn't be surprised if this time next year buying a steak is still a special occasion.
Hi, looking a little bit scruffy, but we're at Safeway. It's a store here in Saskatoon. Quite a big store. Fish, meat goes down quite a ways. I'm not sure where Rita is. Excuse me. Still big. Beans. This is all produce. I'm not sure where she is. I lost her again. Lost her again. I'm not even sure. Not even sure where she went. Not there. Not here. Not here. Not down here.
Looking for ways to lower your grocery bill? Redeem your C+ points in store.
No, I'm not even sure where she is. Meat is really expensive here. Really expensive. Wow. Just a second here. This is the prices that we pay in Canada for frickin' meat. These are prices of beef. $32.99 a pound. How about $47 a pound for beef? And we have beef in Alberta, we have beef in Saskatchewan, we have beef in Manitoba. It's ridiculous. I mean, we are looking at this right here. I'd like to make stew, but $30.22 for cut up beef? I couldn't do it. There's no way. Like, holy shit. Well, like an pork tenderloin, $30. That's ridiculous. Well, it's time to go find Rita. Again, everybody have a good Monday.
All Canadians should be able to afford steaks. When you see people at the grocery store look at steaks that they really want and it looks all pretty and they pick it up and they look at the price and they put it back, that's the inflation tax. That should not happen. If you see a person that works 40 hours a week, a full-time job in Canada, and doesn't buy the steak to eat, there's something wrong. I grew up knowing price of meat. I don't know why. I always knew that if you want strip loins, it was always around $19.99 was the average price, $19.99 per kilo. If you got on sale, it was like $17.99. So today's prices is $35 to $45 a kilo, which is a huge difference. So when you go to the grocery store and you buy 2 to 3 steaks for, let's say $50 for 2 steaks or $40 for 2 steaks to $70 for 3 steaks, there's something wrong. And I'm just talking about the grocery store. I'm not telling you you're going to a special butcher that guarantees that your steak is grass-fed. I'm just talking about AAA Canadian beef that should not be something that any Canadian doesn't eat due to price. That's the tax that Canadians are all facing. Let's put that part in inflation tax. But there's so much taxes on everything. The gas tax, there's tax on the fuel to bring that steak over. There's the tax on, I guess, the farmers. There's more tax on them. And there's the insurance that goes up. There's just everywhere just went up in price. So now the steak that you want has doubled in price. And the Canadian income didn't double. That steak is being put back. And it's kind of crazy if you see it like that, because right now they're already putting back the steak. But like, at one point, is steak going to be only for the ultra rich? Like, is it going to be like $100 a kilo one day if we just let it keep going? I don't know. That's why the rates are higher, is because they're trying to stop inflation. They're stopping people from purchasing. But I'm just saying on a micro level that steaks are being put back due to price, not because they don't want to eat it. It's because of the price was inflated.
Grab a couple things and I'm walking past the is it cloned or is it not? Who fucking knows? Why? Because apparently they don't even have to label it, right? I'm at Zehrs right now, and I don't know if I trust it or not. So for now, I'm just gonna go to a homegrown place and get my meat from there for the time being. But check out these fucking prices, dude. Look at this. Look at this. This pack right here, $16, bro. For this, $16. And look at this. Look at this family pack. $40. This pack of beef is $40. That's intense. $40. And it's like, you know what the best part is? It's almost like, I think this place is closing in an hour. If nobody buys all this, where does it go? Where does it go? Garbage? Toss it out? So it's like, what a fucking waste. You're charging up the ass, and then if no one buys it, it goes in the garbage. Anyways, we're gonna pass on the beef for now, and because, you know, if they can't, how toxic is that? Speaking of word of the year, toxic. Like, I mean, if you're telling us that you won't even put a fucking label on something to tell us, like, what it really is or where it really came from, like, come on. Like, really? Who made that decision? Why can't we just be healthy and just say, hey, this one's cloned, or this one isn't, this one's from here, and this one's from there. This one's that much, and this one's that much. Fuck off. And put fuck off in the label. I don't care. You can tell me to fuck off. But at least you're telling me the truth. That's all. Anyways, we're going to pass the beef for now.
Hey, my dear. I'm just going to give you the gif because I had broke down this a while back. The reason why it's expensive because there's no competition, right? So, and there's no supply and demand. There's a lot of people buying the beef, yeah, but not to the scale that you guys believe. So just say that Alberta gets access to all the provinces and Quebec gets all the access to all the provinces. You, my dear, will save money because people like me will be able to negotiate and be able to put more, and we go by supply and demand on our profit margin, right? So we have two ways. If there's a shortage and we cannot buy more than, I'll give you an example, right? Just say I had to buy a pallet. That pallet came up to $1,500, right? Now, if I buy 2 pallets, it comes down to $1,200, and it keeps going. It keeps going. Now, for the transport, again, it's the same narrative that the government likes. They're the ones who push that out for the transport, actually. So, again, if Mexico could take a truck and bring beef all the way to Quebec, and they have to go through 2 borders plus gas during an inflation, high price, everything like that, and still become cheaper than us, we got a problem. We got a problem inbound in this country. So if people really want the economy and they really want things to change in this country in a whole, we need to remove these barriers ASAP. It would help store owners. It would help everybody who is supplying in the stores, so on and so on. And the farmers, because the farmers also, they go by supply and demand. The more they're able to sell, the cheaper they could bring the price down because they could use their profit margin to cover for the overcost, right?
What does it say about a country when feeding yourself becomes a financial decision? We've reached a point where Canadians are cutting meat, stretching meals, swapping protein, and avoiding the butcher counter like it's a tax audit. Families are eating less beef not because they want to, but because they can't afford to. Parents feel guilty buying chicken nuggets instead of steak. Seniors grab whatever's on sale, even if it's half the size it used to be. Students? They're living on noodles and canned tuna. And here's the worst part. Everyone knows this. Government knows it. Chains like Loblaws know it. Executives definitely know it. And they do nothing because the profits keep rolling in. Meanwhile, farms close, ranchers struggle. Local producers get squeezed just like shoppers. It's a double disaster. Higher prices for consumers, lower payoff for the people who actually raise the food. But here's the truth every Canadian needs to hear. This isn't normal. This isn't temporary. And this cannot be shrugged off as inflation. It's a system that's failing working people. And it fails every time the price of dinner means less heat in the winter, less gas in the tank, or skipping a bill. Canadians deserve better. We deserve a food system that serves people, not corporations. We deserve a country where buying groceries doesn't feel like gambling. We deserve real transparency and real accountability. And it starts with awareness, with speaking out, with refusing to normalize what we're living through. So if you're watching this and feeling the same struggle, you're not alone. If your grocery cart is getting lighter while your bill gets heavier, you're not alone. And if you're angry, you should be. Share this video. Comment what beef prices look like in your city. Hit like so this message reaches more Canadians. Subscribe so you don't miss the next rant, because we still have a lot to expose. This is Canadian Rant, and we'll keep talking until Canada starts listening.